My name is Lionel Stevens, President of the Sandy Point Agricultural Cooperative, aka the Alliance Against Hunger. And this is my farm, vertical farm, where the earth is the land and the fullness thereof. And today, we are going to do a small demonstration of what we call ear layering. We are here to demonstrate ear layering, right? And here I have a guava tree. As you can see, the guavas are nice, big and voluptuous guavas. The monkeys and the birds getting the best of them though, nonetheless. But here with the tree, we can take the fruit, take the seeds, germinate the seeds, and get a tree. But we all know the thing behind the seed takes, just like a baby takes a while to get big, right? Well, asexual, seed is sexual, but asexual now, we come and we manipulate the tree where we force a branch to get root. And once that happens, you already have a bearing tree. So that's one of the marvelous advantages of ear layering. You don't have to wait for the seed to germinate to have a bearing tree right now. Okay? How do we go about doing this? I'm going to demonstrate on the Madeira fig. So who never hear about Madeira fig, this is the fig in the Bible. So when we call him banana fig, banana is banana and this is fig. Ear layering, you need a knife. You need your soil medium. Some people use peat moss. Some people use the actual dirt. Some people use wood chipping shavings, right? But you add water to it to get the moisture, right? Some of us use foily paper. This is Promix. This is what we use to sow seedlings at the department. It's softer, it allows for more easier root development, right? And I have the foily paper. Why we use foily paper? It's easy, you just click. So first, we look for a nice piece of stem, something straight that you can work with, and we make 2 rings. Start with one here, try to make it all the way around, and just about an inch, we make the other one. Okay? Voila. You don't want to cut too deep to actually cut the stem. Right, and then we cut one from each, and then we remove this piece of bark. So it is said that the life of a tree is in the bark of a tree. You ever hear that before? So if you want to kill a tree, so what we're trying to do here is to separate these things you see me chipping off. All these are vessels that transport water and nutrients from the root up to the branches and things, right? So we create that separation. And what we're actually doing now is forcing this bark up here to generate roots. So this creates the separation. So with the moisture in the soil medium, it's here, and over time, you get roots. That's the science. And once you get your roots, you clip, and this is your new plant. As I said, we're doing a quick thing today. You get a handful, you see the water. You want to make sure that this is moist. And a lot of persons tend to think that we wrap here, right? We don't wrap here, we wrap up here. Okay? Up here is where the roots coming from, not here, up here. Okay? Yeah. You see where I'm coming from? Voila. Ear layering 3.0. Yeah, so it's that easy.
Okay, so now we need 3 volunteers, please.
We're here at site number 2, Potential Farm, where the project continues with the support from the Public Bank and the PMED program, where we're establishing structures to create water harvesting sites. So here we have the base, and we are missing the poles to accommodate the roof. And very luckily, or fortunately, Mr. Warner would have received a water tank from another project, ongoing project, so that comes in perfect. So the Public Bank provides the structure, and somewhere along the line we get a tank to harvest and store the water. So yeah, give thanks. Slowly but surely we're moving forward, you know? You know, here at Ivy Life Farm, where the project continues, we're trying to establish a water harvesting unit or structure on each one of the farms. And this one has a little slight modification to it. So I'll allow the master builder to explain the design behind this one and the special feature.
Yes, blessed greeting, good afternoon everyone. Give thanks for Republican Bank to give us this initiative to push forward. For right now we're having a very harsh summer, and the weather is very critical upon us right now with farmers. Yeah, right now we're down on water right now, so give thanks for the time has been going through that we finally come to a structure. But the structure is 16 by 16, 12 feet in height. And the Virgin also mentioned this have a little change up in terms of the building structure. The first two that we did, the land was a little more less grade, so it take less block. So as we go, we had a discussion about how to go about with the project itself. The project itself is about water harvesting. And so we kind of understand ourselves, and we come up with the idea to actually dig out the front of the building so you could actually hold a cistern. It's a very small cistern, but we plan originally was to put a little storeroom, but through this when we build this structure about water harvest, we decided to go straight into the water harvest. So this pipe here is leading to the cistern. You have 4 extensionless pipes, one in each corner, which going to give you the drain off and which the roof, which in this is part of the structure in terms of the grade of drain water. They didn't put on a steep grade because we don't want the water to overforce span this way, but to run slowly into the drain and go down into the cistern. So the difference is this now, what we do here, instead of just pour the whole base bit out with concrete, we actually left out the space. Now we see each building have a space 12 inches by 8 inches depth. So when we do this, we didn't have the 4x4s. So we had to plan in for the future to leave out the space. So that's why you see this space and we put in a piece of steel to actually, when they pour now we hold in the concrete to hold the structural little foam in the ground. Because as I said before, we didn't have the 2x4 to put up erect the same time when we were building the base. So that's the difference. We see all the 9 holes is to hold the strength from the bottom up for each post. As you can see, you ain't pour yet, but you cannot rack it because we don't have the fully focus and structure to the foundation itself. So, I may know how you could get in, but I want to show you what the cistern look like. If you can walk around here. If you want to go to the still come around here. Watch your head. This is the mouth of the cistern. It's not a deep cistern I showed you before. It didn't have much water. But we do it so we could hold some water. You could hold at least 7,000 gallons of water. No, up to 10,000 gallons of water. Right? Because it's 8 feet by 16 feet in width and 4 feet in depth. The bottom is not deep, it's a shallow thing. I told you before we were trying to use it as like a little basement. No, just half of it. Here is dirt, and from this because you can see the land had a grade. So instead of just full up everything like we did the first two, we decided to take out the dirt and put on a base inside there to actually store the water. Yeah, because we actually had to get a tank for the next two, but now we ain't got to get a tank because we have, this is about the last idea we come up with. And you see that we try to do something to bring it to a look at when you all see it, you all can see the vision of it. Instead of using the tank, we try to use the grade of the land, grade it out, dig it out and put in a base and then erect the walls them and then pour the top. But it's a small structure, a little example going forward, but we try to do the best we could in terms of the little we have, you know. So as I was saying, my next employee was sick for the whole week. Stomach and things, so it was me alone, so I just tried to take it slight along also. For the past month we have some high wind. So we couldn't really do anything with the building. Actually the farmer was to come up before, we used to put on some ground matting and then we already tried to blow them up, so we had to let it settle while the wind cool down. So we go back to it planting again. But okay, blessed good afternoon again. We about to put in some tree of life. You know what I mean? The magic of the water because it comes from a root and go up and it satisfies all of us. It's the plant that grow well in the dry season and also sparks have an idea, a plan to actually use it as a staple. That's why you see we plant so many coconuts. We actually feed the coconut, eat off the coconut, cook with it, wash with here with it. We do everything mostly with the coconut, so it's healthy for us to, that we see most of the farm having coconut tree because she asked about the dwarf coconut. Actually have dwarf coconut, but okay. She mentioned palm, she mentioned dwarf coconut, which in dwarf coconut. Language, you know. So it all depends. Being around coconuts so far and studying them, actually if you take care of them from the early stage, they will be very small, very short, and at least about a year and a half or up to 2 years. If you left them in grass and different things, they could be up to 3 to 4 years. But you have different type of coconut. Also you have the Caribbean tall. You have different types of the Caribbean tall. This is one you call a Caribbean tall, and this is the Caribbean, this is dwarf. This is the yellow one, and this is the orange one. Also, like see the orange one there and the green one there, but this one is the one where we mostly fish. Yeah, because definitely you could tell by this, as Pam was saying, by the stem, you could see the slightly different. This look a little orange, and this got a little green, more greener. If it was green, it's gonna look like this one. You got four different type of the guava one. You got the yellow, you got the green, you got the orange, and you got some like a kind of orangish, brownish. Yeah, but they're very sweet. But the very sweet like a water, but when it comes to strength and fiber, the Caribbean tall is one of the best coconut that we actually have in St. and we use very well. To do any pastries you want, you have more milk, it do better, it lasts longer, it give better oil than the dwarf one. Because the dwarf actually comes from the Caribbean tall. Whatever science went in the plant and do to make the plant be faster at a smaller age and be more, that's what. But you have different, I show you, we have different types of Caribbean tall. You have sparkle, you have the pink head, that's one behind it is a natural pink head. In them time, most of the people with wealth, they always have a pink head coconut tree in their yard, a breadfruit tree, and a grafted mango. That was the symbol of wealth in them time. So when you're watching somebody yard before, you can always see these here. Yeah, it mean a lot. Enough people couldn't afford, then they had a landing. Teach them how to plant a fruit in the yard. So, it carry plenty water. And it also have a kind of sparkling taste. It's very nutritious. That's why you see most people go for the pink head. You know, but they're still long to bear too. Yeah, and they're very difficult. They don't want to see that they come, and you plan to cut it down many years. Because it ain't beer. But I put in some nail in it and it start to bear, and that's how we start to see. But it be a 1, 1, 1, 1. You see them, you still have plenty more, but I don't really pick off it. I use it for seed. Because I want to establish the breed all around, but it be very slow. So, I'll show you before you have many different breeds of coconut in the Caribbean, but we don't really know. But once you look into them, each of them have a different shape, a different look, a different taste, and some of them give you, when you cut them good, like some of them will give up to 15, 20, 25. Some of these, when you cut them where you clean them out, you get up to 15, 30. That's the difference in between them. But this one is the one that we really appreciate, you know what I mean? Because the taste, they give you a real highly Rastafari taste and smell. Yes, I and I. So, who want to volunteer with I plant a coconut tree? Well, the dwarf stand up well. The Caribbean star.
The Power to Make a Difference program is a Republic Bank program that is throughout the Caribbean islands, or the easy Caribbean islands that Republic Bank operates in. We're happy to have it here in St. Kitts, and SPACS is one of our partners. They are into farming, and we would have provided funding to them as our partner for water catchments. I was pleased to see the progress as it relates to the 3 farms where the water catchments are going to be on. And in particular, I think it's well needed because this is the dry season at this point in time, and we see what water how important the water is to irrigation. So we want to say congratulations and to ask SPACs to continue to focus on ensuring that the project is completed so that they can actually continue with the farming and have water at their use.
My name is Pierre Libert and I'm a member of the Advisory Council, and it's a pleasure for me to be here this afternoon to see firsthand the project in action and the results of the work that the team at SPATS would have done with the support of Republic Bank PMAD, Power to Make a Difference grant program. The results are very good, very impressive, and I'm pleased to see that they were able to realize their vision and their project, and it's very impactful to see it not just in writing but in practice, face to face. And I'm pleased with the results, and I could see good potential and good capacity to bring greater water resource to the farms and have them flourish even more and provide food for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And I expect that they would continue to do good work and keep going.
Yeah, greetings. We are now here at the first site of the PMAD project, where we have the completed structure. As you can see, we have the guttering that does the harvesting of the water, channels it into the storage tank, and then we have the pipe connected to the submain that transfers the water down to the plant, where we are able to use irrigation lines for a better means of irrigating the plant, right? Where the water is more better utilized, less wastage. Cut. So we want to thank the good folks at Republic Bank for considering the Sandy Point Agricultural Cooperative as one of the benefactors from the project, and we look forward to continuing the partnership and help to move agriculture upwards and forward with the support of Republic Bank.